these families when your father's away deployed, and especially in crazy times we're in right now. So that was a great event, and some pictures of the event are attached there. I'll leave it at that for now. Happy to answer any questions on anything new that has come up since this report was published, possibly.
Well, thank you, Ms. Gray. There's some really good news in there, especially about the building inspector. And we have somebody as seasoned as this building inspector and to work weekends too. Just amazing. Very good. Is there any questions for a CAO from council? Councillor Pearson.
Yes, thank you for your report. Lots of details in there. So just a question around the building inspector. Are we communicating that out to the building community at large? Like, how does it look evenings and weekends? Because traditionally we've been handing out building permits during the day. So I just kind of know what that.
Correct. So yeah, well, more details will come with that during the week. As I said, he's coming in on Wednesday to kind of have the initial kind of meeting, and we'll solidify the schedule. When I say doing things evenings, that's going to be like permit reviews that he can do from home. And then basically they're all electronic now. So we'll have a system available so that the building planning and development clerk will have access to the permits if they're ready to go, and can print them out as needed and all of that. So definitely, yes, we'll be communicating with the Builders Association and other developers and builders we know that have been asking. We have a list going of people we're going to be following up with once we know a more solid schedule. And then, yeah, Saturdays is when he's offered to do inspections on site, because he is working full time elsewhere. So in talking to a couple developers, they thought that would definitely be a good resource for them to have. We've never really offered this before, so it's interesting time to pilot this right now. And more details will come, but for sure, definitely we want to make sure it's clearly communicated to everybody what the plan is going to be and what his availability is, and go from there.
Thank you. Good explanation and good news, because again, giving more options when we didn't have any. So thank you for that. And thank you for your work on that file too, making that happen. Thank you. Second question, and through the chair to you and probably to the director of engineering, is do we expect when Church Road roundabout gets done, it will alleviate the traffic? Because it seems to be escalated, or we're getting reports that it's escalated within the last couple of weeks. Is that going to give us some relief? Just because I'm getting asked. I mean, and I'm sure you are as well.
Yes. When the roundabout gets complete, it's going to relieve traffic congestion for that certain component. Yes. Overall, it's a piece of many pieces for the whole transportation master plan, though.
But a critically important piece. Like, we know that between that and charters, they're the two next logical pieces. So those are definitely been our top priority. As you'll see, there's a grant for charters coming up, so we know how important those are.
Ultimately, to complete the TMP, the connector has to go in, and what we're focusing right now is putting all like the artery components in place before you put in the heart.
And thank you both for that. And it's important to the public, and that's part of my question is to make sure that the public is hearing that there are solutions. It's going to take a while to get there with the rate of growth that we've seen. There's no doubt. But again, it's the overall transportation master plan that we're following. So thank you, both of you. Thank you,
Councillor Pearson. Councillor McMath.
Since we're talking about it today, Modi was doing work near Stickleback. Is Modi sending you guys updates on when they are having projects occur on Sooke Road? Because the impact for traffic today was not reasonable.
Yeah, no, Christina Moog is in connection with Modi. They send her updates quite regular. Sometimes they're a little bit last minute, which we're trying to avoid and get them to be a little more proactive. They did send out the notice for the slats that were going in on Sunday, but I do not know if they had messaging that had gone out for the work on Monday. I was a victim of it myself, so it has to get better.
And then any dialogue around having that sort of work occur at nighttime? Because the difference between Sooke, as you know, with all the other communities, there's only one way in and one way out.
For sure. No, that's their primary objective too. They don't like to issue any permits for anyone to work during the day on the highway. With themselves, they try and avoid it at all costs. I don't know what the urgency was with this matter, though.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just kind of tagging on to what Mr. Carter said is, we knew about the Sunday single lane alternating to do the tree trimming, but we weren't made informed of what was happening today. So it's kind of hard to, when you're in the thick of it now, go and change them. But for sure, adding advocacy to do that kind of work in the evenings would be something for sure that we can communicate clearer to the province.
Any other questions for CAO? Okay. Again, thank you for that report. Traffic on Highway 14 is a very, very hot topic. And it's scary. It only takes one small little blip. And once you back that traffic up, it's backed up for hours. It drives people crazy. We get a lot of calls on it. Highway 14. Thanks. All right. Next, we 6, the public question and comment period. So if you want something, you have 2 minutes. Please come up and state your name and the area that you're from. Is ever first? Come on up. Don't all rush at once. And it has to be on something that's on the agenda tonight. So if you just say what part is you're going to be speaking to, please.
Yeah, William Wallace from downtown Souk. I'm here to speak about the Demmanuel Creek Bridge crossing. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm here to address the cost of the Demmanuel Creek footbridge and that has almost reached $3 million. Given the formula that was so often quoted, where 1%, every $100,000 spent is a 1% tax increase, the footbridge then is almost a 28% tax increase is needed. Okay. You're asking taxpayers to put up another $539,000 if there's no grant, if grant is not successful. And you have set it as a priority over the Charters Road grant application, which is the highest priority given the recent budget survey. So you're putting that footbridge over the Charters. This bridge is not even on the list in the survey. And there was a public open house on the bridge on May 17th, 2023, and I can't find any information on that open house, the results of it. In the budget survey, the park acquisition was a high priority, and with the growth that you're directing in the town core, why are not more parks and green spaces there a priority? Sun River has received substantial funding for the sports box, and I think there's another $1.5 million going for further work. This Cadillac $3 million footbridge across a creek that you can walk across for the majority of the year needs questioning as growth is directed to this community. The growth direction of this community has changed. The economic outlook for 2023 and 2024 has also changed. Actually, our growth question is probably on most people's minds these days. Noted in the budget survey, unfortunately, it says that
Mr. Wallace, your 2 minutes is up,
Okay.
sir.
housing supply was the last priority. One
Your
question.
2 minutes is up.
What is the current?
Your 2
acquisition?
minutes is up.
I just had one question.
Well, we'll deal with that now. Well, if you can have one, you can come back as a second time speaker. Does staff want to comment on anything there?
Yeah, through the chair to council, with regards to costing, if you look at a $3 million project, 1% tax increase does constitute a $100,000 increase. But a project like this is not funded through tax increases. Staff and council have made every effort to offset the cost of this project through grant funding, which we've secured almost 50% for, hopefully, and we're looking at securing another $500,000. Project of this nature is only being put, these active transportation grants typically come up once a year. Any municipality can make 2 applications. Project has to be shovel ready. It has to be in the financial plan. Demmanuel Creek is in our financial plan for this year, and we are working on bringing it to final design for construction next year. And Charters Corridor South is the next piece of the transportation master plan, which is slated in 2024 in council's 5-year financial plan, which we'll be recommending to put to 2025. As a priority application with addressing 2 intakes, you always want to prioritize the one that comes first in the plan, which is the one we're dealing with right now with Demmanuel Creek. Second priority for the application will be for Charters South. That's not even till 2025. 2 more of these grant opportunities will come up before Charters South is even realized for construction. And in terms of transportation being a priority in Sooks or green spaces, I agree to both those things. Demamio Creek is one of the key pedestrian connections to basically eliminate some of the traffic congestion in Souk, because currently everyone from Sun River is coming into Souk during peak traffic times in the morning and in the afternoon, bringing children back and forth to school. This will provide a means of active transportation safely for kids to get to and from school from the Sun River area. In conjunction with all the transportation projects, this pedestrian project, highly important, and it will reduce traffic congestion in Souk. I have nothing more to add.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Next speaker, you can just your name and where you're from.
My name is Alan Kine.
There you go.
My name is Alan Kine. I am at unit number 25, 7142 Grant Road West, Rustic Acres Trailer Park. I am in the middle of a very noisy area of late. I moved there with my partner in about 2016, and over in Brailsford area there was blasting going on. Mountain Heights, in that area there was blasting going on a pretty regular basis, but it was far enough away from us that it wasn't a concern. But over time, it's gotten closer and closer and closer. Instead of being 2 kilometers away, it's a quarter of a kilometer away. We're 250 meters away from Brailsford Park, that is at this time being on a daily basis blown up. There is drilling going on all through the day and blasting, sometimes 2 a day. Sometimes they miss a day, but more often than not, they're hitting every single day of the week. And following that with blasting, and then the crusher, and then whatever else is going on during the day, it has become a problem. It's not ending here. They're on phase 4 right now. They're moving 5, 6, and 7 up across Ella Creek, a riparian zone, into a new development that's going to take what, another 10, 15 years? It's coming down to within 75 feet of my back door is where this development will end. And that's the one that's going up over top of Rustic Acres Trailer Park. And it's becoming difficult. Our mental health is suffering. We get agitated easy. It's not just COVID. My dogs are scared. It is a difficult place to live. And I moved there because it was a beautiful green space, a constant green space right through Ella Creek, Ella Stream. And it's not any longer. Most of the parkland that was there that is being dedicated is a blast zone. Thank you.
Anybody in staff want to, any comments to that?
Other than it's
CEO.
a complicated issue. Unfortunately, because it's within the bylaw rules, they were working within the bylaws and the regulations. I appreciate that the noise and can be bothersome. I myself have had construction behind me for the last 14 years where I've lived, so I can absolutely empathize with this, but unfortunately the decibels are not going to be within a level that are harmful. There's not, it's similar to the boat launch. Like there's unfortunately not much legally we can do about this to stop this development outside of council making some decisions on changing the bylaw, the noise bylaw, and limitations that would have more impacts than just this one development.
Yeah, I understand the legal complications because they have contractor has the zoning, they have the right to build on it. Unfortunately, when you're living next to it for 15 years, I can certainly understand how it would grate you. At this point in time, we could just take it under advisement, but I don't really have a solution for you right at the moment. And I don't think staff does it. No, you can't now. You can come back again. Next person, please.
Chad Bryden from 2299 Compass Place. Worship members of council. I'm the president of Verity Construction, and we're a local company. Our offices are in Langford, but we own multiple pieces of land in Souk, and I have multiple employees that live in Souk. And I've been connected to the the area for quite a while. Played on the fast pitch team here for years. Anyways, we are working on the project that the gentleman spoke about in front of me at 7044 Brailsford Avenue. I came tonight because I noticed that it was on the agenda. I just want to note that I haven't been contacted by anybody, by either bylaw, neighbors, or staff about it. Excuse me. But I wanted to come here tonight to let you know that I take it seriously. The noise bylaw, we understand the noise bylaws. We're used to working within them, and we are working within the noise bylaw days, the prescribed days and the hours. Our typical work hours are around 7:30 to 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock. And we're allowed to work till 5. Very rarely would the guys work on Saturdays, maybe once in a while, but if they did, it wouldn't be past noon usually. And they never work on Sundays or stats. And it is true the project's been ongoing for quite a few years now. However, we're new to it. We purchased it in 2022, and we are working hard at getting through the process of our engineering drawings and getting those approved so that we can get these lots created and ready for the local soup builders to get on them and get the houses completed. And yeah, it will be going on for a while, but we are going as quick as possible and respecting people, respecting the neighbors. There's a couple of comments there that I would want to just note. There's a note about a crusher. Crusher is not on site, and we're not running a crusher on site currently. We did run a crusher for maybe 3-4 days a few months ago, but that has not been ongoing at all. And he said a comment of 10 to 15 years development. That's definitely overstating it. The park is not a blast zone. We are
Okay, sir, Mr. Bryden, you're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you for those clarifications. If you had more to say, we will do another intake. I want to get the other people to come or have a second time, and then yourself, if you could stay around and if you have more to say on the matter, then we'd be glad to hear it.
okay. Thank you.
Anybody else like to come and comment on something about tonight? Okay, we got someone there. And then I will come back around. You have pressed the button there.
William Berry, 2209 Henlin Drive. Concerned about Henlin Drive being the main access to this, what is it, Plan 1801.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So that's, I don't believe Henlin Drive is suitable for construction type vehicles, heavy duty vehicles. My concern is that looking at the plan, you have Plan 1801 and 1687, and my thought would be, rather than using Henlin, you can put a road from Plan 1687 to the new one, 1801. For me,
I have a point of order and I have to deal with that before I go on.
Yeah, thank you for those comments, but I don't believe that's on our agenda tonight. That discussion. Tonight we have the noise abatement.
Yeah,
That
I have to agree with Councillor Bateman. We're talking about the noise. The letter is about the noise and not about.
I was under the understanding it was Henlin was on the agenda.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
When it is, you can come back.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other first-time speakers? State your name and your area you're from.
I too had the understanding that the development around Henlin Drive was on the agenda, and it is kind of correlated with the noise as well. And I believe I'm looking at the future too about the noise. Henlin Drive is not suited for the heavy construction traffic. There's not only that. I'm getting to
No, just that, sir. We're not discussing the traffic. I think that we could do that another day, but unfortunately, it's not on the agenda tonight, and I'm stuck with those rules. So I understand your concern, and if we can get that letter pulled, write a letter, we pull it and we can discuss it. Any other first-time speakers?
Hi, my name is Daryl Freed. I live on Cedar Park Place. And I would also like to address the problem with the noise. I'm gonna keep it short. Yes, they are operating within the bylaws. But the bylaw may be somewhat inadequate to address the problem of the ongoing noise. Maybe there's no rock crusher, but it sounds like there's a rock crusher. It sounds like I'm, in a gravel pit or a quarry. And it's every day, I mean, weekdays, of course, but it really is extremely loud and goes all the time.
Well, thank you very much for those comments. I certainly sense that it's extremely aggravating for the neighbors, and I'm just trying to find a way through it. It's we have our bylaws that are passed about noise and hours of work, and it's very difficult when the contractor is abiding by those hours and the decibel levels. So at this point in time, I don't see any remedy. Any other first-time speakers? If not, I'll entertain second-time speakers. Again, come up, state your name, press the button.
William Wallace from downtown Souk. I just had two questions. One, are you authorizing the spending of money for this bridge if the $500,000 grant isn't obtained? Are you saying go ahead, we'll pay tax dollars for this? And the second question is, what is the current state of the Park Acquisition Reserve Fund? Do you know what it's in it? And is any of that money being used directed at bridge construction? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. I believe we are voting on it.
To the chair, through councils, you're not being asked to fund that amount of money tonight. It's just a financial update with reference to the application. You're being asked tonight to support an application. If the application is successful, we should know in early 2024 before budget's finalized, and we wouldn't require extra money. If the grant is not approved, it would be a request of staff if council desired to go forward with the project, but ultimately the exact price of this project and a project of this nature will not be known until it's tendered. It's very unique. It's in a difficult location. The access is limited. So the estimates are to the best of the engineer's ability right now. We won't know the final cost till tender, and it will be discussed through 2024 budget deliberations.
So we won't be voting on, we're just giving the okay to seek a grant so we can carry on. Okay, and the second question
Correct.
was the Park Acquisition Fund.
I'm
Ms. Gray,
just looking very,
sure.
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not that good. And just to echo while I'm looking this up, what Mr. Carter is saying about, yeah, this is strictly just council support to apply for a grant for this project. If we're not successful in this grant or something else changes as part of 2024 budget cycle, options will be presented to council
Yeah, it comes back to us.
on how to fund this for sure. We just know how important this project is overall. So,
Very good.
like we always do, we're trying to find other revenue sources.
Okay, if you're still checking on the acquisition, if you can update us sometime this evening, that'd be fine. You don't have to do it right this instant unless you got it.
I just found it.
Yay.
$301,430. Whether it's being, I'd have to double check. I can get back to Mr. Wallace separately. I believe his wife has sent me a couple questions as well, so I can get back to him with those further details.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head the exact fund, if any of that fund is being used. I don't believe so, because it's for buying parkland. and we're not buying parkland, so I would, just
Okay,
my
yeah. I believe
initial
you're right.
feeling is telling me we wouldn't have used any of those funds because it's parkland acquisition, so it would be used to buy future parkland, I would guess. So
Okay.
that's all I know at this stage.
That's good. Thank you very much. Okay, second time, if you'd like to come up again, sir.
My name is Alan Kine. I'm at number 257142 Grant Road West, Souk. My question is about the noise in close relation to riparian zones, specifically Ella Stream. The blasting that's taking place between by Brailsford Park. There's been a great deal of rocks crashing down into the forest, which is in the ravine, which is Ella Stream. It's already been covered up a great deal up on the head of that, put into a pipe or whatever, but there's large rock crashing down in the forest. That's one of the things that we're hearing. They're drilling right on the edge. There's even times where we hear the det cord go first, and that's a loud shot, like a gunshot, a number of times, and then the blast, and then you hear the rocks rolling down into the forest. Is council allowing that within their bylaws? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Staff, you can comment on that?
My only comment is that the contractors would be abiding by all environmental regulations. They would be having environmental professionals on their staff. If there was any concern directly related to any one or two incidents, I would suggest the resident.
Meetings from July last year, when it all came out, the covenant came out, it was rewritten. There's never really been mentioned that Ella Stream has been covered with a large amount of overburden.
Okay, what I'd like to do, we have somebody here from the contractor that can speak to it. Okay? So maybe that's your second time up.
Sure.
Chad Bryden, 2299 Compass Place. Just a couple things. I'd just like to say we've worked in many different municipalities across the region, and I find Souk's noise bylaws to be consistent with all the other municipalities. I don't think they're out of whack, if you would say. We're not working in any riparian zones currently. There is a riparian zone down in the trail network in our future park dedication areas. And when we do go work down there, we will be working with our QEP. He has come to the site many times and will be working with us when we get down in that area. We are not in that area currently, and we are working within all of our own personal property on the site right now. And comment about the overburden on the stream. We have not placed any overburden on the stream whatsoever. And I am available to talk to staff in, this week, next week, if something comes up, or if they want to discuss it further. And I actually did meet Mr. Kine earlier, and I gave him my number in case he wants to talk to me in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Duncan Morrison, Grant Road. I just wanted to share my sentiments with Alan about my concern for Ella Creek and the noise. I know that area very well. I've gone up there and I've seen the damage that he's talking about myself. I just wanted to share my concern for the wildlife in the area. There's a lot of bears and cougars and even wolves in this area. And my question is there any sort of wildlife corridor to provide, connectivity between Broom Hill and further down? Because a lot of wildlife come through there. And I'm just curious if there's any consideration for that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Again, staff, is there anything?
At this time, I don't know that we can answer too many of these detailed questions. I would
Okay.
encourage everyone to send their questions in, and if we have contacts now, we will
Okay,
reach out to them for a specific question that staff can't answer, and it's more of a developer builder question.
sure.
We will endeavor to reach out to
And
them.
my understanding is that the
Absolutely.
residents now have the ability to talk to the contractor directly.
Correct. But yeah, if there's something that's in the staff purview to respond to, we'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
But if they can just email their questions, and that's the easiest way to get it
Okay,
under staff to respond.
thank you, Ms. Gray. Okay, one other, go ahead.
Fred Brown, 2135B Winfield Drive. Just one question. I looked at the bylaw and I don't know if I missed something, but Councillor Meadows mentioned that the contractor was working within the bylaw regulations. I didn't see anything mentioned about the volume, the decibels. That was mentioned, you know, I didn't see anything about decibels in the bylaw.
We'll ask our CAO that question.
Through your worship, sorry, I only mentioned that piece only like from a work safe perspective, other decibel, like we've had other noise complaints over the years, and whether it's specifically in that bylaw, the decibel I know would not be at a maximum, like over a work safe claim kind of.
Just in the
situation.
general
Just in a-
noise bylaw, correct?
Correct.
Go ahead,
Just to add, like, I extremely empathize with all the neighbors in the area with the construction going on. And I get that it's an ongoing process for development, but it's very difficult for any municipality to say, you know what, you can only work one day a week and have one day for blasting and one day for moving rock, or else development would be unfeasible and communities would not be able to support any affordable housing for the community. When it comes to decibels and the loudness, I understand blasting does occur. It's a loud impact, you hear it. But in terms of decibel ratings, it's more of a noise impact if someone's running a power washer right next door in their garage to a single resident next door, or running a lawnmower right next to someone's window. And it would be if council restricted and said, oh, we can only let these decibels, like general work in people's yards would be restricted. And the contractors do everything they can to minimize it. But essentially they have no choice when they're building on a rock face. And all the residents that have been built in the Brailsford area to date have all experienced the same amount of noise in constructing the homes that people are living in right now.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to connect it to the reckless development that's going on in the entire.
Okay, well, that's,
And that's different.
yeah, no, that's, we won't go there. I mean, the noise bylaw, they're adhering to it, and it's pretty hard for council and staff to do anything at the moment. Okay, thank you. Any other comments tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, everybody, for your input. I know it's frustrating for you, but we do need to hear it, and I wish we had more of an answer for you than we have. It's just the way it is right at the moment. Thanks. And the province, sorry, but Councillor Bateman would like.
Yeah, and of course, we'll be discussing this a little later
Yeah.
when it comes on the agenda. And yeah, thank you all for the input so far. We'll discuss this further.
Can I say one thing? The maps.
Yeah. I have a little discretion here. I'll let you speak for.
Alan Kind again. Ellis Stream has been misnamed on the maps that show the parkland that's being given to the city. It has been named it's written here. I can't see it. It's too small. Empirical, really, like it means nothing. It's not something you would cover by a riparian zone structure. Yet in our official community plan, it's marked as riparian, and in the maps here, it's not marked as Ellis Stream. So they've covered it up with debris in a number of places that is unconscionable. I would really like to know who would be the best person on council to reach out to regarding
It would be a staff question. You'd have to write a note to staff, send an email to confirm what that area is.
Okay, thank you.
Because we don't, council doesn't have that detail at their fingertips. That's why we have the staff here to do that for us. So send a note to staff and they'll try and get that answer for you. Okay. Yeah, CCS here. Okay, we'll carry on. Item 7, consent agenda. Correspondence received, and that item 7 be adopted by general consent. We have a motion to that.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion to the motion?
I would like to pull one item.
Okay,
I'm never quite clear whether I should pull this before the motion goes on the floor or after the fact, but here we are again. Item 6.F, adopting resolutions EB 32 and NR 38 from Michael Strong. So that's for the next meeting.
for the next meeting, all right? All right, with the exception of that, the rest of it be received. And we have a motion and a seconder. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Counselor Pearson, I see you're saying yes. Yeah, thank you. All right, that is passed. Thank you. Next is reports. Little River Multi-Use Trail, Demandel Creek Bridge and Charters Corridor South Active Transportation Grant.
Perfect. Thank you. Through the chair to council, like I've alluded to earlier, BC Ministries Active Transportation Grant Program has come up. We're asking council support to support two $500,000 applications, one towards Little River Multi-Use Trail and one towards the second piece of charters. What's being constructed right now would be charters south from Gollage down to the highway. Applications are in line with everything within the grant. We think we'll have successful applications on these. With the Demamiel, we're in process of final design right now, hoping to tender out early in the new year. Costs have increased by approximately $500,000 since we've advanced the design from the preliminary design they had a few years ago. Being successful with this grant would offset those increases. And as I alluded to earlier, Charters Corridor South is in the 2024 financial plan, will be recommended to be moved to 2025. I provided a bunch of financial updates as well as project information within the report. Other than that, I have nothing else to add. Resolutions are before council for consideration.
Thank you for that. And any comments from council before I ask for a vote? Councillor Lajeunesse.
Just had one question about the trail. There's proposed alignment 1 and proposed alignment 2 where on the west side of Demamiel. Is this for, I'm assuming that alignment 1 is because of the grade, to lessen the grade.
Yeah, we were, to Councillor Lajeunesse, through the chair, there's a couple options we looked at. We're looking at minimizing the grade as well as minimizing costs. So we're looking at sort of whatever option would be the best one. Also I've been working sort of with the school on different options near the top of the trail. So we've been successful in working with the school to secure a new alignment at the top, which will completely take away from deforesting about 30 meters of that entire slope, where we can slide the top part of the trail near the back of the school. So everything's been good with that, and the options are looking at minimizing the grade as well as reducing the cost.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, Councillor Bateman?
So following up on Councillor Lajeunesse, so a choice will be made between these two alignments at some point.
Just trying to find the two, we've already kind of narrowed it down. One kind of goes around. Sorry, one goes around the outside, which kind of follows an old skid road that's in there. And that was the more desired option. I was getting them to explore a shorter option that would have required a switchback, would have been way more expensive. So we're sticking with the option that kind of loops around.
So alignment 1. Yeah, okay, good. So I would also,
go ahead,
if we have no further questions, I'd like to amend this motion just a little bit. There's a few typos. So shall I start in on that?
Yeah, we might as well get the proper thing. We haven't made a motion yet, but if this is a time to make amendment, then we can read the amended motion out. So what have you got there, Councillor Bateman?
Well, in the third clause of the first part. It says, and that council commits to its share. Surely we're committing to the district's share. Okay, so it should say commits to the district's share of the total project costs. Because I ain't got that money to spare. Yeah, okay, I know. And then in item 2, just a lowercase on the word amount. Item 2, second, yeah, there we go. You want to capitalize infrastructure in Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. And I think, and finally, in the last clause, you will also see that same, yeah, and the council commits to the district's share of the total project costs.
Can't get anything by here.
Yeah, that's our Councillor Bateman for you. Anything else? So, okay,
Deputy
Ms.
Mayor, do
Gray?
you see that Mayor Tate has her hand up?
Oh, she's here now. Oh, okay. Mayor Tate, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I was going to second the motion and then speak to it.
Okay. Who? She was going to second. Who made the first motion? Jeff. Okay, so we have a motion and Maya's Mayor Tate seconder. We're going to have discussion to the motion. Mayor Tate.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. My video feed is a bit shaky, so that's where I just shut it off unless I'm speaking. So thank you about that. Just in regards to the concerns raised from members of the public earlier about this, I'll share that it is not, you cannot walk across this creek all the time. So in the dry months of August, you can. And certainly right now you cannot. And who are we building this trail for? It's to connect our school-age children with amenities in our community. Yes, Sun River has had an investment of the sport box and future planning for that area park. However, that is not for the benefit of Sun River residents. That is for all area residents. The Stickleback Trail, as we know it, was the first work that we did that sort of brings trail alignment from John Phillips Memorial Municipal Hall. The connecting all the way through to Akolpoye currently is completed. This final connection would extend across and over, where then it would line up with the current infrastructure already in Sun River. So the intention would to bring school-age children from all over Souk to the Sun River or Ravens Ridge Plain area and back again in a safe, desirable way. So using active transportation, an accessible trail and crossing, they would avoid the dodgy parts of Phillips Road completely, as well as Highway 14, of which we don't know when we will soon see sidewalk placement there. So that's why, you know, I'm grateful that we have stuck the course with grant funded to get through, and now we're reaching the final phase. I would also share that we also have a very vibrant community garden with residents from all over Souk currently using that garden. Also, it held a, there was this amazing record turnout at Apple Festival this year, and potentially the society in charge may want to do something else there to showcase that. So these are community amenities as well as access to the current river trail, of which everyone currently drives to enjoy. I've also seen many retirees cycling down Phillips Road, usually on the sidewalk to get to pickleball and the like. That would avoid them having to navigate that very busy road and use our active trail network. The design and all the planning towards this is taking in the environmental impact, knowing also this is an area of significant significance to the Sauk Nation. So contemplating what that looks like, this could be an inspirational trail in the future. In the chamber currently right now, we have 2 chairs dedicated to future generations as well as to the environment. This is our ability as a district to show what active transportation will look like in our community, recognizing those that have stewarded this land since time immemorial, as well as all the wild creatures that utilize this habitat. By allowing, if we did not do this, the challenge would be we would have folks all over the place in this sensitive ecosystem, and that would potentially damage sites of significance forever or habitat that we don't yet know about. This is our way of preserving and controlling access through that particular wildlife corridor and site of significance. So I truly thank staff for their work in advancing this. I'm grateful for the work that you've done in connecting with the schools. Every school in Sooke right now enjoys a time through nature education of getting outside. This potentially would provide an area where not just Poya and Journey, but even students from Sooke Elementary could walk to, because those students walk all the way into the Sea Park Forest or down to Kings Park Beach as you know it. They're very limited in where else they can go. But they do, as you all know, walk all the way to Municipal Hall, and I'm sure they would be enjoying what will come to be in the Journey Kolpoye area. Our best way to adapt to climate change is to have our children involved in the areas, and certainly every person I know that treasures this was because of experiences they had and what they want to preserve and share for future generations. And so just value the work that's happening here. So I'm fully in support of this, as well as obviously the charter's work that really needs to happen. And again, we're not just patching over and putting duct tape on something. We're actually addressing this corridor for the future, and one that can sustain the flooding that's impacted that area for several years. So thank you to all for your work on this, and I hope that council supports this and we carry on and get it done. And I think part of the reason of the cost escalation is other levels of government spending a lot of time fine tuning or reviewing our applications. As I understand it, this has been sitting and waiting approval for a couple of years. So perhaps they can turn things around quicker in the future, hopefully.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor Tate and Councillor Bateman. My apologies. I should have come to you first, but you have the floor.
No worries. The mayor has said it all very well, as always. And just to note that within our agenda tonight, we have the phases that will be coming for this connector route. So that's on page 59. So anyone out in the public, if you really want to know how Mr. Carter and his team are progressing this mythic connector route, it's getting there. And this next phase 5 will connect with the work to be done starting next year on phase 4. And fantastic. And all those good reasons for the connector, the trail. So.
Okay, so if I read this out and then we have a motion and then a seconder, then we can vote on it. That council confirms the Little River Multi-Use Trail Active Transportation Project as identified in District Parks and Trails Master Plan. Do we have to I thought I'd have to read it out.
No.
Okay, is that all right, staff?
Yes, I believe, I don't think it was actually read all the way out, but yes, it was first and seconded. Right.
Okay, all right.
Council Bateman
So
firsted
the
it.
normal thing is you read it out.
Correct.
If we're not going to get the Mounties in here, we're fine. We'll just carry on with it. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a seconder. Any more discussion to the motion? Councillor Pearson.
Yes, I think some of this is, it's taken a long time, and in my hiatus off being off council for 4 years, this Little River crossing was talked about prior to that. And it's good to see it finally coming to fruition. Every time we add something to our transportation corridor, it's going to have the long-term effect of improving our traffic. So I will be supporting both these motions.
Now, my understanding, both these motions are on the floor. That's what happens when you don't read it out. See, I'm not clear, but okay. Any other discussion? Any other councillor commenting? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise their hand. Any against? Hearing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, next is two things, regular council meeting schedule. And there we have it there. That council approved the 2024 council meeting schedule as follows. I'm not going to read it all out. Do we have a motion? Councillor Pearson, seconder McMath. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? That's unanimous again. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, now, okay, we got it. Just a sec, sorry. That's my page. Deputy mayors, I report, deputy mayors 2024. Council appoint the following deputy mayors, and there's the schedule in front of you. Someone make that motion. Pearson, McMath. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Gee, that's great. Thank you. That's passed unanimously. I don't see the mayor there anymore. I assume she's around somewhere, but. Okay, next is 8.4. That appointments to external committees and commissions, and we have. We don't have a name in there yet, do we? So. All right, so the motion. Okay. Just bear with me a moment here. All right, that council appoint Noah Dowie as the district, sorry.
This is for a
Oh,
council
sorry.
representative.
I'm sorry. All right. Got mixed up again here. Sorry. All right. So that's the job that I'm doing right now, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Somebody want to make that appointment, please? All right. No, just the name's fine.
Al Meadows, second.
Okay. Any discussion to that? No, just one at a time. All right. Okay, so we have that. We have a first, second, no discussion. All those in favor? Oh, well, I was going to do that second. We do a second vote. Okay, so we'll vote on that one first. All in favor? All right. And that this is another motion, and that council appoint the District of Sault Council alternative representative to the Sault Electoral Parks and Recreation Commission for a 2-year commencing January 1st and expiring December 31st, 2025. And I think last year it was Councillor Lajeunesse. Now it's Pearson now? I'm sorry, I was on the impression that it was Councillor Lajeunesse, but is somebody have that record there? Because before it was.
Sorry, I don't know.
Well, okay, then, well, let's just make that Councillor Pearson is going to fill that role. Is there anybody else interested in filling that role? Hearing not, then will somebody make that motion to fill it? Thank you. That's Councillor McMath, seconder, Councillor Bateman. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? So that's Councillor Pearson. Very good. Okay. All right, so and the next one is Councillor appoint Councillor Pearson as a district suit representative to Family Court Youth and Justice Committee for a 1-year term commencing January 1st, 2024.
Well, I'll just say that as a 5-year appointee, I haven't heard I was going to be. Yeah, I'd be happy to continue on. I'm the communications chair of the committee and yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that might be a little bit premature. Yeah.
Keeping with the night.
No, that's fine. That works out well. I mean, it's the idea. So Councillor Bateman would like to remain and he's got a lot invested in that. So you wish to put your name forward for that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Pearson, are you interested in putting your name forward? Are you
As the alternate, yes.
Okay, as the alternate.
So,
okay.
If there is, I don't think there's an alternate for this. I support Councillor Bateman again. Yeah, we've had this conversation in the past and Mr. Bateman said he was interested in continuing on.
Okay.
So.
All right.
The point of clarification.
Microphone first.
Point of
Turn yours
clarification
off,
around
please, Counselor
alternates.
Pearson.
Now, the family court is introducing a new, what they call a qualification matrix. And this is designed so that we can find alternates who are actually working within the field of youth justice and yeah, so that'll be coming to council at some point, to all the CRD councils, and we'll be seeking those experts. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we have a motion on the floor that council appoint Councillor Bateman as a district suits representative. Okay, thank you. Seconder?
Sorry.
Go
point of
ahead.
order. That motion does not match what's on the screen.
Well, there is no second to this
So what I'm saying is
Yeah,
the
that's correct.
having the alternative needs to be removed.
removed. Yeah. Thank you for picking that up. All right, so there's the motion. I'm going to read it out just so that there's no problem. That the council appoint Councillor Bateman as the District of Sault representative to the Victoria Family Court and Youth Justice Committee for a one-year term commencing January 1st, 2024 and expiring December 31st, 2024. All right, we have a motion. We have a seconder, that's McMath and Lajeunesse is a seconder. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Very good. That's passed unanimously. Thank you. What am I on now? All right. Okay, new business. Do we have any? All right. Item 10, correspondence requiring action, excessive noise from top of Broom Hill Development, and that was pulled by Councillor Bateman. Councillor Bateman?
I just, before we start, I have to recuse myself because I have family that's impacted by this same issue.
Okay. We still have 4, good.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, okay. Okay, Councillor Bateman.
Okay, so I pulled this from our correspondence packages because it's clearly a concern in the community. It's been a long-standing one dating back to 2017, I think, when the work began, and there was some dust issues at the time. But predates Verity's involvement, of course. And we've received perhaps 5 or 6 letters. It's certainly a subject of coffee shop conversation often, because many of us in town can hear the blasting, for example. And I did, so thanks to those of you who spoke tonight, a number of issues were raised. One related to decibels. Okay, so a number of bylaws that I looked at, Saanich, for example, Victoria, North Saanich, Central Saanich, all have decibel clauses within their noise abatement bylaws. So that's something to be considered at some future date. The matter of Ella Creek is outside of my understanding. Now, in July 2022, when the new covenant was arranged, I think district's park staff was going to be doing some sort of ongoing monitoring of the development. And I don't know if that has been happening, but that might be something to be looked at. It was good. Thank you, Mr. Bryden, for being here tonight. It was good to hear that 7:30 to 3:30, rarely on Saturdays, and the rock crushers are rarely utilized as well. Now, I did go up to Mountain View Heights today, and up there in phase 5, there is some rocks being moved around. I see the blasting instructions are up there. So if I was in the vicinity and I heard 12 short blasts on the whistle, 2-minute pause, then the explosion, and then there will be a long 15-second blast to indicate that blasting is completed. I did have a motion I wanted to bring forward tonight, and unfortunately my email's not working because I updated my iPad today, and I can't send this through to corporate services. And the motion basically suggests that the district share public concerns regarding noise arising from construction activity at Viewpoint Estates with Verity Construction, and requests that it share its noise management and blasting policies, as well as its regularly scheduled work hours regarding current and future phases of the development. Because I believe the logic of that is that this would create some certainty in the public around your practices. And it would particularly be useful if people knew when the blasts would be occurring. I don't know if those are scheduled at all or as needed. Perhaps we could have the.
Yeah, I'll take the liberty of maybe having the Verity representative come up here and maybe speak to Councillor Bateman's motion, because I don't want to throw a motion in there that can't be actioned. Is what we're asking reasonable?
It's not reasonable to get the blasting time set out. That's a near impossibility, unfortunately. So there is a process where the neighborhood is put on blasting notification before they first start. So that would happen a long time ago. And then during the day, they have the warning sounds, as you mentioned earlier. But it's almost impossible to do a scheduled blasting notice, unfortunately.
Okay.
What about those, do you have noise management and blasting policies that you could share?
We have our full safety guidelines, WCB safety programs, and within that, we have all of our blasting guidelines that we follow. I'm not sure, I don't think I have an issue sharing them with the public, but I'm not sure that it really would yeah, it doesn't really address it. It's more of our safe working, how you safely work around blasting, what's required to do. Other than that, we're required to follow obviously the bylaws within the municipalities.
You're certainly doing that.
And as I mentioned earlier, I'm happy to meet with anybody if they want to discuss it further.
So I guess to your motion there, Councillor Bateman, it sounds like the contractor has opened up that he will discuss those things with the residents. I'm not so sure your motion's necessary, but that you can make any motion you want.
Yeah, no, I won't bring that forward.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll let Councillor Bateman finish. Okay, Councillor Pearson.
Yep, thank you. You know, it's a difficult situation when, you know, the public is going to be living, you know, the development in Sooke has been taking place for a number of years, and it's going west, and it will end eventually when it gets down to Kemp Lake Road at our district boundary. And it's been, you know, it's difficult to sit here and listen to, you know, to the noise and things like that if you're living in that neighborhood. But this is pre-zoned property. The regulations around blasting are extremely stringent in our province. WorkSafe has, you know, a lot to say about it. Decibel ratings and noise things. I've heard it all as this is proceeded across the mountain. We had at Brailsford, we had dust storms, which completely engulfed people's homes. The contractor sat here, much like you did, which I really appreciate you being here, and said, you know what, we'll go good for that. We'll clean the houses. And they had people go in and clean the houses when there was some unexpected things, because blasting is not an exact science, but safety is paramount. So our best bet is, you know, is when a company comes to town or a developer, that they get it done as fast as possible. That's our role in it as councillors, to, you know, that we keep it there, because the public is enduring that over, you know, it's multiple decades now. And the Sun River took, you know, however 28 years to build that out as well, and it's still going. So while I sympathize with the public, and I appreciate the contractor being here and saying that, you know, he's going to work as hard as he can, and he's following our bylaws, which we create. So, and I don't see issues with our bylaws. I know they do. And the wildlife is of concern. And, you know, that's up to us in the zoning regulations and our OCPs to make those riparian areas for wildlife to go through. And I think largely we've done okay, because I live down on Maple Avenue and the bears seem to get down there. Much to my chagrin, but anyways, no, you know, a good contractor in town being here present means a lot to the community, I think. So.
And I guess this contractor's just, you said you took over the property in 2022, just last year, right? Yeah, okay. Any other comments? Okay, Councillor Bateman.
Yeah, the one outstanding piece here, and I hope the residents will check in with Verity and follow up on this. The issue of whether the covenant is being properly or the land's being properly developed, and whether the Parks Department will follow up or perhaps have been. If we could get at a future meeting some sort of very high level staff report.
We could look, or
Yeah.
our staff meet their QEP on site or something like that. But like, yeah, for us monitoring it on a daily or weekly basis is kind of unrealistic. But for us to meet on site and say, hey, Verity, can we meet your QEP on site and see all this damage that has been caused with the rocks falling down the slope? We'd be more than happy to go out. And if there is an issue, more than happy to work with Verity to address it.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty good response. Thank you very much, Mr. Carter. Anything else? Okay, I guess that's done with. Now we'll go on to 10.2 permit fee for donated projects. And that was pulled by me. And what's come up, and you all have the letter there from Mr. Topolonsky. He is a Rotarian, and they have they're going to build a gazebo for can't remember the outlet. It's by the Legion there, I believe. And they work very hard at assembling the money. And so when they come for a building permit and have to shell out another $100, they're wondering if there's some mechanism where we could waive that. And that is for a lot of small projects that come through the years. I don't think there's more than 1 or 2 a year. But other service clubs as well. So I'd be interested in making a motion that we waive the building fees for this project. I think it's $100.
I'll second that.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Pearson.
Yeah, through the chair to our CAO. I don't know if we can actually waive the permit fees. I think we can pay for them out of a fund or something, but I'd be interested in your answer.
Through your worship, that's what I was gonna,
Good.
I'm just looking at the fees and charges bylaw. Yeah, I believe when this has come up in the past, like you need to come up with another funding source because the fees are cost recovery and they pay for staff time, so.
What is your suggestion? What we,
Well, I guess first I'm trying to clarify, have they actually applied for something yet? Do you even know
Yes,
for sure what the
today.
fees are? Okay,
and it was $100.
and then maybe 50 for the highway use permit as well
I
on
thought
top of
that was
that?
waived. He's only talking about the $100 one. You know, I did, but since then he sent me another.
Before he's actually come in, yeah. So it's just $100. You're not talking about the building permit fees and the other fees that will be attached to this project at some point? I'm just wondering, is this,
I'm not sure. I thought
Premature?
there was only the $100
No.
fee.
there'll definitely be other fees. So I'm just curious if this is maybe premature, if there's gonna be other fees. I know this has come up for other
Yeah, no.
things in the past, and there's more than just the original permit fee. There'll definitely be, I don't know what they are obviously at this time.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I
So-
was under the impression that this is all he was interested in, but knowing the service clubs and the money that they have to round up for this, they'd be interested in getting more than just the $100 waived if there was more fees. So can we table this to the next meeting? I have to.
That's what I was gonna suggest. If for now, if you could table it and then I can follow up with staff and confirm what has actually been applied for. If there's gonna be other fees applicable, I can bring that forward at the next meeting.
Okay,
If
then we can
there's-
make a decision then and then. have a
Correct, once we
story.
know a bit more, rather
Okay.
than, I think if you pass this one, I think we'll be back again with probably another one if there's additional.
Yeah,
fees.
no, we might as well do it all at once and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Rotary can cover it in the short term, so. Anyways, okay, good advice. I wasn't aware of all the other fees, so. Councillor Pearson,
Do you need a motion to table it?
yeah, I think we do.
I'll move that. We
Yeah,
table it.
okay, we have a motion, Councillor Pearson to table and Lajeunesse second that. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Okay, that is passed. Thank you. Council verbal reports.
Your motion didn't match what was on the screen, so I just wanted to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't even reading the screen. I just read out the. So we're tabling it. Simple as that. Yeah.
We will make sure that.
Tabling and
copy is
waiving
correct.
fees, right? Okay,
Correct.
all right. Are we okay? Councilor McMath, good? Okay.
Just a friendly reminder, Mayor Tate's online. I don't know if you want to ask her first.
Is she there? Okay, Mayor Tate, you have some comments?
No, I was going to leave it to you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next is council verbal reports. Don't all jump up at once. I have one.
Okay, you start.
Okay, I was on behalf of the mayor, I was to attend a clean economy town hall with the premier and a number of people. It was one of those that you're not allowed to participate, you just sort of have to listen. The takeaway there is as we're moving to the zero carbon in the province, it's going to take a tremendous amount of electricity, tremendous amount. And BC Hydro is now looking to partner with some First Nations or anybody in generating some more electricity because just in the forest industry itself, they'll need 1,000 megawatts of clean electricity more than they're having now. And the other thing is that there's a battery plant in Maple Ridge and going in an investment of $1 billion, of which the province is putting up 80. And these batteries, this battery plant, these are they're not car batteries, they're backup batteries that you could store power, say from solar during the day and then give it out at night. So that was good news. And there's also a lot of talk about producing hydrogen and exporting hydrogen in British Columbia. And again, hydrogen takes a tremendous amount of electricity. So I'd be interested to see where all this is going to go, because if the plan, the way it goes now, and I think I commented last meeting that in July and August, the province had to import power for those 2 months because the levels in the dams were so low. So that's just an information thing. It was interesting, but it was a feel-good moment. So, anybody else with anything? Councillor Bateman.
Sure. So maybe nuclear is our future. We'll see. So I attended a tree planting with the Friends of the Souk Park Society, which is this remarkable new group that is funded through our Souk Community Climate Action Seed Grant Program. And through direct, Jessica Boquist led the way, and we planted 9 trees along the pathway. And this group has just finished cleaning up Pine Ridge Park. They're now focused on John Phillips. They've then looking in next year to Millennium Park and Broomhill Park. So they're adding trees and they're creating community events in each of these spots. So it's quite a remarkable little grassroots. Is the wrong word for a tree planting organization.
Oh, they have roots. They have roots, though.
I attended the CRD Transportation and Environmental Services Committee meetings on behalf of Director Tate in mid-November. The Transportation Committee had the newsy items, and that's they're moving ahead with this Transportation Authority concept, which we all did our Q&A about in October. So they will do concept development and analysis work that will now include, and this is what's based on the feedback they got, areas related to connectivity, traffic flow and congestion, and grant funding for municipalities. So that'll be part of their mandate. And in the new year, there will be one of these forums of all councils, as they did with the First Nations. So this will focus on transportation. We'll all be invited and we can participate. And at that same meeting, there was a fascinating piece around speed cameras at high risk intersections. And I know those are controversial, but the province has moved ahead. There's currently 140 speed cameras in BC. And just 2 of them are in the CRD. And the feeling is that since we represent 10% of the population of BC, we deserve at least 14 speed cameras. The CRD Traffic Safety Commission said that after decades of education about speeding, people don't get it. And it just comes down to you commit the crime, you pay the fine. And here in Souk, we have a couple of very problematic intersections. Bell Vista and Phillips had 82 accidents over the 4-year period, 2018 to 2022. Murray and Otter Point Road, the Gillespie and Souk Road has been solved by the new 4-laning, and Church Road and Goodmere. And let's see, I'll just cut through to Vancouver Island Regional Library Board meeting. We reapproved the budget. In September, we approved for Souk, a $9 increase on the Souk requisition. It'll go from $54 to $63 per capita. And this relates to the new executive, they've been looking back at what they call legacy issues, and there have been a lack of cash liquidity within the organization and diminished reserve funds. So they need to bump it up. So we're seeing a one-time, slightly larger requisition increase for Souk, which given the quality of our library, it's quite a bit of a bargain for us in Souk. Now, if you're in an underserved community, it's a little harder to take, but and finally, I'll just mention that the first meeting of the Homelessness Coalition's Community Action Team happened on Friday. Councillor Beddoes was there, St. Pierre, Food Bank, Kim and Sherry from the Shelter Society. We had Deb from the Chamber of Commerce. It's quite a good group. Greg from RCMP. And we've determined we need to hear from BC Housing at our next meeting. And MLA Parmar is also invited to that one. And we're going to make it an information session so we can have a full understanding of the interconnectivity. We've got Shelter, Food Bank, BC Housing.
Can we get a copy of that invitation? Because it's not a closed meeting.
Well, you could come. I mean, yeah, we're in the library's meeting room, which holds maybe 22, I guess. Okay, what do you think, Al? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think I guess anytime that you have a counselor interested in attending a meeting like that, then come on in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's in the general.
Well, it was, you know,
In a forum scenario, of course, with the 3 of us, with Tony, Al, and myself. But we won't be making decisions. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And you're both also welcome. That'll be at a date to be determined by Mr. Albert's and Ravi's Parmar's availability.
Yeah, it's a good meeting.
Oh,
All right, are you done now, Councilor Bateman? You got
Yes.
more? Okay. Anybody else? Any Lajeunesse, Councilor?
Yeah, so attended the CRD Arts Commission meeting last week. The project grants are now open until January 18th. And as I mentioned after the last meeting, there's a secondary intake in April for the project grants, and you can now apply for the same project if you fail to get funding on the January intake. We adopted the 2024 to 2027 strategic plan, and it's really good. You can check it out if you're interested on the CRD's website. And there's a new Juan de Fuca Performing Arts Society that has started up to try and create some arts infrastructure in the West Shore for not only performing arts, but also for artists, place to gather and collaborate, etc. Also last week, I attended SIP's Local Leadership Day. There were 3 main topics and panels that discussed these 3 topics. One was vibrant places, as they pertain to local economic development and different approaches in a regional context. Climate emergency and resilience, opportunities for proactive regional collaboration, and attracting and welcoming essential workers, especially in the healthcare field. And after each panel discussion, there were table discussions with different groups. Everybody had to kind of move to different tables after each presentation, and there was some very good conversations that took place, and the results will be collaborated and shared with all participating members. And then the week before, I attended Royal Roads University student presentations that were set up by our Community Economic Development Officer and Searchin. They commissioned 5 groups of business students to develop business cases for various food security initiatives, including vertical farming, seaweed harvesting, food hubs, farm co-ops, and the other one I can't remember what that one was. Very good work was done, and I'm sure you'll be hearing more from Ms. Scott about those. And last but not least, I attended the Sauk Region Chamber's Business Excellence Awards, and there were performances by Sauk's own West Coast Cabaret, which was really good. And then there was a local comedian born and raised in Sauk, Kevin Banner, and he was absolutely hilarious. And he has 2 award-winning albums, and he's toured with David Spade and other sort of high-end comedians, and he's really good. It was well worth it. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I've done.
I guess I better comment, because I thought I reported on that last time about the chamber dinner, because Air Manor was the one that we sponsored. They won for the nonprofit, and Home Hardware won the overall chamber award for the best business. I can't remember if I did or not. I might have just told you guys, but I thought I better, since we sponsored that one, and that Home Hardware won the big one. I think it was just worth mentioning. Whether I did it before or not, I don't know. We got it again. So there you go.
Small world, a small town. Kevin Banner was my neighbor growing up. Just a quick update. I attended a CREST meeting downtown Victoria. They are still working on some infrastructure pieces with Rogers. So the cellular network is active. But in terms of emergency services, radio communication, there's still some pieces missing. And then CREST itself is transitioning fire. They've already transitioned police to encrypted channels, and they're just in the process of encrypting the fire channels as well. So hopefully that project will be completed in the first quarter of next year.
Thank you. Mayor Tate, do you have anything?
No, I'm good for now, Chair. I'm just sort of fizzling.
Okay, I think we're all starting to fizzle. Councillor Bateman had a prediction that we'd be through tonight by 8:30, so we're just past it. But anyways, thank you, Mayor. Okay, oh sorry, Councillor Pearson.
Just 2 quick things. Yes, along with 3 other councillors, we attended the Searchin meeting last week on November the 20th. Got an overview of Searchin and where they're at, where they're headed, what are our challenges going forward to realizing a healthcare facility in our community. And the other only thing that's on my list here is that we attended the Drennan project with all of us.
Ah, true, yeah, yeah.
So
that-
on,
And
as
that was a very interesting one,
yeah,
yeah.
so with all of us at council, we got to, it was my second time going through there, but as they're progressing and seeing things, along with the, I just wanted to mention that there's some amenities that are coming to the community as a result of that project as well. It, there's a nice trail, which is going to keep children safe, and much like our Demaniel Crossing down to Sea Park, and hopefully it gets well used and children can come from Suk Elementary School particularly without being on the highway all the
Yeah,
way. So,
be
so
nice.
there's some nice amenities that are coming with that project. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, I guess that's it. So we're not going to the injured.
More.
Oh, go ahead, Counselor Bateman.
I just wanted to very quickly note the first meeting of the potential Suk Food Policy Council happened at the community hall last week. And Tony St. Pierre and myself were there, along with reps from Food She, the Farmland Trust, School District 62, Transition Suk, Suk Food Bank, and more. And the key here is that Searchin, Christine Bossy, has managed to secure a 9-month contract for this young Danny Stancer. And she is, she's got this remarkable background. She's all of 25. She just came from a job in the city of Merritt where she was a grants coordinator. And she's also been with Cowichan Green Community in the Cowichan Valley, and they created a food hub and just all sorts of really positive things here potentially. And so she's off and running with this this project, and I think it could be very promising. I know we've talked about food security being an important part of our one day, whenever we get to a strategic plan. But yeah, so this is great news.
Thank you, Counselor Bateman. Okay, anything else? I think we're done there. So I just have release of closed meeting resolution. Do I have it here in front of me, or do I just make it? Okay. Oh, there you go. Thank you. That council recommend the appointment of Noah Dowie as the District of Suk resident elector representing to the Suk Electoral Area Parks and Recreation Commission, Sea Park, for a 2-year term ending in December 31st, 2025. And Mayor Tate has appointed Councillor Beddoes, McMath, Pearson to the Community Health. I guess we do them separately or just report put together? Oh, okay. All right. Mayor Tate has appointed Councillors Beddoes, McMath, and Pearson to the Community Health Committee. So there, I've reported. So I'm done. Thank you. So now we're looking for a motion to adjourn. Yay, Councillor McMath, for sure. Do I have a seconder for that
Second,
motion?
Tate.
Councillor Lajeunesse. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Thank you.